pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you explain on that? How?
Well, that's a very off topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even ask me, they asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. He said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things, otherwise you don't have. We have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 0 in 3 months. Not one person came in illegally into our country. In fact, even I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers, so I guess it's, but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3, millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
Concerned Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? Or seen headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming? We've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of...
We will fight on. We will win. We will win. I believe that's what they're saying in that. Incredible stuff. We've got some big news going on, certainly with the NBA. That's a trip. That was just a trip when I saw that story popped up right towards Showtime. Chuck Grassley posted this today. Just received this doc from DOJ's proof that Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, FBI Director Chris Wray, all personally approved opening Arctic frost. This is where they all spied on the senators. The investigation unleashes unchecked government power at the highest levels. My oversight will continue. Good job, Mr. Grassley. Got some news around the shutdown. This is not going well for the Dems, certainly not going well for the country. Well, maybe. I actually think this is kind of a good thing, but we'll see. I mean, it's unfortunate people are struggling. I'm hoping Trump can help with that, with tariffs and whatnot, so we'll see. So far, he's taking care of SNAP and he's taking care of the troops, which I think are two very important ones. Certainly the veterans would be another big one. But the top Democrat, she's calling for American sufferings. She's calling it leverage in this shutdown. She said literally, there will be families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have. This is what Catherine Clark from Maryland has said. From Maine has said. No, what is it? Maryland. Massachusetts. Holy crap. Good Lord. I'll learn. The M's are tricky, always. But needless to say, yes. This is just ridiculous, right? They're literally looking at this as leverage. The plight of the American people to the Democrats is only leverage so they can get money for people that aren't even citizens, so they can give money to foreign countries, to NPR and PBS. They're literally willing to starve you Americans to get their way on stuff that doesn't have anything to do with Americans. They're in a tough place right now. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent posted this. The budget deficit began to shrink dramatically beginning in the second quarter of this year when there was no overlap with the Biden administration. From April to September, the cumulative deficit totaled just $468 billion. This is the lowest reading since 2019 and is down nearly 40% from the comparable period last year when Biden was spending recklessly. Today, President Trump is putting the U.S. financial system on solid footing. Revenues are soaring, and government spending is under control. Democrats think that they can undo the important progress the president has made by shutting down the government, but they will not succeed. 100%. Huge. So again, we just broke another trillion in debt, by the way. 38 trillion now. So yeah, people are freaking out, to say the least. Speaker Johnson spoke for a little bit. I'm going to kick this up a teeny bit. Cool. And we've got his opening speech. I'm not going to play the other guys, but he's got a good solid 7 minutes, sped up a little bit. But again, I think it's important to hear what leadership is saying. And Speaker Johnson, I think, is doing admirable on this course that we're on right now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 22 of the Democrat shutdown. While it's already been, as we noted yesterday, the longest full government shutdown in history, October 22nd marks another landmark. This is now the second longest government shutdown of any kind ever in the history of our country, and it's just shameful. Democrats keep making history, but they're doing it for all the wrong reasons. The contrast is the split screen, and I've referenced that at this podium a few times already, but I just think it's an important thing to point out, because that contrast between the two parties grows more glaring with each passing day. And you can look at all the evidence for yourself. There is, of course, a literal split screen every day. You've got Republicans and Democrats out all over the airwaves, burning them up, speaking directly to the American people. But you'll note that there's a key difference between the messages of the two sides. The Republicans are all repeating the same simple truth, and that is why that message is resonating with the American people, and that's what the polling indicates. At the same time, on the other side, the Democrats are doing their very best to obscure and create distractions from that simple truth. So the reason that we find it important to come out here every day and repeat again the same simple truth is because they're trying so hard to cover that up. But there's also a figurative split screen. There's a literal one, but it's figurative as well. And I just wanted to spend a moment this morning and talk with you about that. On one side, you have the Republican Party, the party that controls the White House, the Senate, and the House. We call that unified government. It's the party that won the popular vote in every single swing state and made deep inroads with voters new to the Republican base. And we received that mandate gratefully, and we went immediately to work. So since the election in November, just in the last 9.5 months of this Congress, which began in January, Republicans have delivered incredible results for the American people. And we could stand up here and spend an hour going through just the bullet points and highlights of all that, but we put a few on the handy chart over here. But just think of what's been accomplished in the last 9.5 months. A couple of things listed here. We passed the historic Working Families Tax Cut, one of the most landmark pieces of legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress for the benefit of the American people. We slashed taxes for hardworking Americans, geared for the lower and middle class earners who needed that assistance. We cut hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, waste, and abuse from government. We solved the border crisis. We are working now to solve the crime crisis in major cities around America. We strengthened Medicaid. We improved healthcare access, and we lowered premiums with our legislation. We have restored peace through strength, thanks be to God, and we are ending wars around the globe. And we've restored common sense to a government that sorely needed it. That's part of the mandate that was given to us by the American people in the fall. And most recently, we did our jobs, and we passed a clean, nonpartisan CR to keep the government open for the people. Now look on the other side of that figurative split screen, as demonstrated here. The lights are out. It's all dark. Why? Because what the Democrats have accomplished in 9.5 months is a government shutdown. A couple other things sort of related to that. You know, they have made a lot of TikTok videos. We give them credit for that. They've also assaulted law enforcement officers. One of them's on trial for that. They've openly embraced and rallied with communists and socialists, most recently across the country on Saturday. They voted to raise taxes on millions of hardworking Americans at the worst possible time. They have voted against reducing fraud, waste, and abuse in government, and they have now voted, collectively, Democrats in Congress have voted 12 times to keep the government closed down. But it doesn't stop there. The Democrat shutdown is a glaring example of just how far the Democratic Party has strayed from common sense. Remember the simple truth here. It was over a month ago now that we passed, the Republicans passed the clean, short-term, continuing resolution. It's nonpartisan. No gimmicks, no tricks, no riders, no partisan Republican policy priorities added to that. It's 24 pages in length, as we've discussed so many times, and it is very, very simple. Why? Because it was a very simple good faith effort on our part to preserve our ability to keep negotiating on the full year funding bills, and of course the other big issues facing the American people. So we wanted to keep the lights on. But what did the Democrats do? Instead of receiving that, voting for it, as they have always done in the past, they broke from history, and they rejected that. And they offered a counterproposal. Ours was a clean CR. We call theirs a dirty CR, and you all know why. Because they added $1.5 trillion in new spending that would be a mandate, including hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars for health care for illegal aliens. Go to page 57, section 2141 of what they filed. They want to restore funding for left-wing pet projects in foreign countries. And I've given you a list of some of the crazy things that they would include in that. $500 million for liberal news outlets like NPR and PBS on the backs of taxpayers, and the removal. Remember, they wanted to eliminate the $50 billion that Republicans got signed into law by President Trump on July 4th to prop up our rural hospitals. And here's the kicker. The Democrats can't even agree on what they want right now. If you polled congressional Democrats on what it would take to reopen the government, you would not get a uniform answer. Every reporter in the room, by the way, should be asking them that question. Democrats put together this haphazard grab bag of crazy leftist policy proposals when they knew that it would not be agreed upon, and they knew that it was clear that Republicans were working to do the responsible thing and offer a clean CR to fund the government. That's our most basic job here. In their desperation now, they're trying their very best to somehow blame Republicans for the forthcoming health care crisis that they themselves created. By way of just very quick review, for the record, because they're trying to obscure this as well. Let's remember the true origins of the boondoggle that is American health care under Obamacare. Democrats wrote that bill. They passed it into law without a single Republican vote. During the COVID pandemic, Democrats created temporary Obamacare credits, again, without a single Republican vote. Democrats then voted to extend those credits. They set the expiration date on it. And then when they held the majority in the Senate, it was Democrats who chose not to extend those credits beyond this year. Now, as we approach their own self-imposed expiration date, now they are breathlessly insisting to you, and on all the interviews, that somehow it's a Republican crisis. Give me a break. The facts are the facts. We are up here sharing the simple facts and truth. As John Adams said, facts are stubborn things. Democrats are the ones who manufactured this entire situation without a single Republican vote, and now, when the chickens are coming back home to roost, they're trying to blame the other team. It is utter nonsense, and you should call them on it. That's the job of the press, and continue to do that every single time. Clearly, this is a complicated issue, this whole healthcare subsidy thing, and there's hundreds of different views on it, as I've explained. So Republicans cannot and will not solve it in a backroom deal. Chuck Schumer has been suggesting that 4 leaders should go into a smoke-filled back room like they used to do in the old days and create this solution. It's not a possible thing to do. It was never appropriate. It's not possible to put on a continuing resolution because it's such a complex issue. Issues of this magnitude deserve deep thought and deliberation. That's how this system works here. And as soon as Chuck Schumer reopens the government, all of our members will have an opportunity to engage in the very important discussion of how to make Obamacare affordable. But we won't engage in Democrats' hostage-taking, nor will we pay a ransom. We certainly won't engage in their unserious proposals as long as Democrats continue to act like unserious lawmakers. I'm just going to say this morning, enough is enough. With us today.
Yeah, enough is enough for sure. And again, things are heating up. And who's to blame? Well, the polls are starting to show, it depends which poll you look at. So I kind of just been ignoring them. Ultimately, it's about us just continuing to ripple as best we can. We are helping that process still. The polling is changing because of what we're doing. GOP senator blocks Democratic bill to pay all federal employees during the shutdown. Well, they were planning on working in some other stuff in there. They were also going to pay all the contractors. So this is not being fairly reported by The Hill. It's just one of those things where you got to know your source, right? But yeah, they said, let's not vote on your bill that the Democrats were trying to put through. Let's vote on our bill, which we want to pay the military and essential workers. Keep it simple, stupid, right? The KISS rule. Democrats wanted to do all sorts of crazy. They wanted to, again, sneak in a lot of their crazy funding, NPR, PBS. Again, that's where contractors comes into play. They, I'm sure, had a lot of their pet projects, the things that they're getting money shoved in their pockets. But we dried that up. That's what a lot of people don't truly appreciate, is we dried up the funds for all these deep state actors. All of them. U.S. aid was a big one. This budget is another big one. Them not letting them have that $1.5 trillion, an extremely big one. A lot of that money wasn't even going to go to anybody but other people's pockets. Democrats blocked the bill, though. They obviously don't want to pay workers. They don't want to pay essential workers, I should say, and they certainly don't want to pay the military. The Democrats are blowing it. Here's a little bit more of Speaker Johnson.
That they've globbed onto. They actually put on paper, Joe, what they want. They want $1.5 trillion new dollars of wasteful spending. They want to prop up leftist news organizations with a corporation for public broadcasting with $500 million. They want to send billions of dollars back overseas to social programs in foreign countries. We're not doing that. And importantly, they want to extend those Obamacare subsidies permanently without any reforms. Oh, by the way, restoring health care to illegal aliens again, that's $200 billion of their demand. That's what they're leveraging. They're using the American people as pawns in this game to leverage to get all of that, and we can't and we will not do it. On the subsidy, it's a very important point. The cost of health care has skyrocketed since Obamacare was created in 2010. It did exactly the opposite of what they promised us.
What's funny, and I don't know if the Democrats realize this or what, but they are literally pandering to people that most likely, because of what Trump does, are not going to even be able to vote in the federal election, finally. Literally, they're trying to give health care to illegals. They are appeasing to illegals. Anybody that I know that's here legally, this is the thing that's funny about the Democrats. They don't get it. They think all immigrants stick together. It's like, no, there's the illegal immigrants. They stick together because they broke the law together. And then there's the legal immigrants who look over at them and call them people that jumped in front of the line. The people that legally came here and legally did it, they had to study. They had to pass a test. They are more patriotic than most native-born Americans. Those who skip line and don't even appreciate that they're Americans or don't even call themselves Americans. I know many of the Hispanics around here where I'm Mexican. Oh, okay, I thought you were American, Mexican-American maybe. No, they're not in a lot of cases. They don't care about this. In fact, to a lot of them, they feel like this is their land, so they want to take it back. That's truly what many of them think. So this is who they're fighting for. Like, how is that a winning cause? It blows my mind. And again, it blows my mind that anybody is still a Democrat. I just don't understand it. It makes zero sense to me. What does make sense, thank God, is Healthy Home. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Just incredible products. Stem cells, they help you heal. This helps you with plant-based ingredients, not actually sticking stem cells in you. Helps your body increase its stem cell production 25 to 40% within minutes of taking the product. There's a gel that's very fast, and there's the gel capsules. They get into your system very quickly as well. So two different ways to do it. It is an incredible way to up the stem cells, up your healing. When they talk about you need to get antioxidants in your body, what the oxidants are the things that age you. Antioxidants help remove a lot of the aging components to us. Stem active stem cells help heal the damage done. So a lot of people, I had a shoulder injury. That's why I bought the product to begin with, and it worked. Shoulder injury went away. It was about 3 weeks in, and I was just like, holy crap, my shoulder's not hurting anymore. That's so weird. I had a, golfing problem and dislocated my shoulder when I was younger. I've injured myself only when angry. Oh, it's awesome. That said, stem cells healed that. But it actually does the healing and all the other components as well. I injure myself every once in a while. I do stupid stuff. I, get a hangnail and pull it too far and it's, right? That's got to heal now. Stem cells are helping all over the place. Balance is when the lady's going through changes hormonally. And that happens for my audience, typically with the older crowd, right? Their change happens. But also younger ladies are benefiting from this, the ones that are just starting into the childbearing years. Some are fading out, some are phasing in. Balance is helping balance both of those. It's a hormonal thing. This doesn't put any hormones in you. And if you're taking synthetic hormones that your doctor gave you and they're working for you, awesome. I know a lady that was her case and she took Balance and it was even better. I also know a lady that she was getting the synthetic hormones and she wasn't getting a benefit from it. She tried Balance and that fixed everything for her. Balance is proving to be an amazing product. It's a pump. So a lot of people are like 1, 2, or 3 clicks is what they call it, I believe. And you're just putting it right here on your wrist. It's a transdermal lotion. You literally rub your wrists together and this stuff's going in your body. That's it. That's all she wrote. And you're going to start almost immediately feeling better. Temperature, not so crazy. Mood swings, definitely a lot more normal. Helps your relationships because you're not all over the place, right? There's so many factors. You can sleep better at night. This brings balance back to your life. What once was chaotic and probably chaos for those close to you is now feeling a lot better for everybody. It's a powerful product. Amaze is another one that will amaze you. The collagen. So you got sagging skin, especially those of you guys that are trying to do the weight loss stuff. If you're doing Ozempic or anything weird like that, and again, I don't recommend that, but whatever. You're going to do what you're going to do. Certainly there's some weight loss stuff at one of my other sponsors, but it's not quick like that. It's proper and healthy. Healthy weight loss is great. You won't have the problems. But quick weight loss, sagging skin's a big problem. Again, if you're going to do something like that, you want to have that collagen peptide going on inside you. Collagen, of course, the most important protein in your body. Peptide, smallest little molecule, so it's instantly absorbed. So sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, fingernails, Amaze. It will do exactly that. It'll amaze you. My girlfriend double dips, and her hair is freaking awesome. It's like hardly ever falls out. Hardly ever see it anymore. Even before, it was happening all the time. But also her skin just looks really, really amazing. And she actually cut the shit out of herself in the middle of the night. And that's actually healing up surprisingly well. Like, it was like bad. She's got a little scar from it. But that's going away. And so Amaze is fantastic. Prime, I did this morning. No, yesterday before I worked out. It was awesome. Helps so much. It's a nitric oxide booster. It's a powder. You just pop it on your mouth, let it dissolve in your mouth, and it literally allows you to get more oxygen in your blood. So as the blood's moving, it's oxygenating stuff more, or less blood goes further, if you will. hence more energy. It literally is just more energy. You'll have more energy. You won't. It's not like a caffeine rush. You don't feel it kind of happen. You just notice you got more energy. You're like, yeah, it's a little bit easier today. It'll help. And then STEM Active for pets. All that whole spiel I said about us and healing. Well, your pets need it too. It's like half the price of what you pay for yourself. So it's a little, obviously less cheap or less expensive. It's a chewable is how it works. And, however you get that to them, you have to wrap it in cheese or something. You do what you got to do. But STEM Active is powerful, and even for the pets. All that said, go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. And make those healthy choices. You will find healthier living when you're making healthier choices. It's pretty cool. Minnesota Supreme Court, they're ruling that the trans powerlifter who was barred from competing in a women's event actually won the case. The decision was unanimous in Minnesota's Supreme Court, 5 of the 7 justices having been appointed by Democratic Governor Tim Walz, the communist, and other 2 by former Democratic Governor Mark Dayton. USA Powerlifting is a national and international powerlifting organization that sanctions meet in the U.S. and several other member countries. The trans athlete J.C. Cooper sued USA Powerlifting in 2021. Cooper alleged the organization engaged in discriminatory practice by rejecting the athlete's application to compete in the women's division in 2018, claiming it violated Minnesota's Human Rights Act, which apparently Minnesota disagrees. So USA Powerlifting, I don't know if they have to pay anything or whatever, but they should not be able to compete against women, that's especially lifting. Holy crap. Far left professor lawsuit is blocking Trump's land transfer from the state to Trump for his presidential library. This far left professor, major progressive dude, super old. Dude's probably going to die one of these days anyway, so whatever. 85-year-old fart's gonna be what he is. College professor, retired, so go figure. But yeah, he's doing a lawsuit based on a technicality in Florida's Sunshine Law that has, for now, succeeded in temporarily blocking the transfer. Let's see. Dunn contends that Miami-Dade College Board of Trustees breached Florida's government in the Sunshine Law. He alleges the board did not provide adequate public notice before a meeting where the board voted to transfer this $66 million state-owned property to the Trump Foundation. They just didn't post it long enough or in advance or whatever, and they're supposed to. So probably all they got to do is post it for a day, and then people can air their grievances. I don't know what that's going to matter, but it's just trying to be a thorn in Trump's side. I don't even think it matters anymore, right? This is Andrew Cuomo apparently taking Mamdani to the cleaners. Now, again, the way I'm seeing this, and again, everyone thinks Mamdani's going to win, and he might, man. He might. And that would be a victory for the deep state, unquestionably. But so is Cuomo. So is Cuomo. Now, if Sliwa gets out of the way, I think Cuomo takes this thing because I think Mamdani's getting a lot of bad press, and this supposedly is equal, and we're going to play it in a second. But I can't believe we're going for Cuomo, the governor that actually killed a whole bunch of people in nursing homes. Like, literally, this is who we're hoping for? His brother seems to have turned a corner, and when we talk about Epstein leverage, the Cuomo brothers have probably been there, right? Think about it, right? So maybe they're actually on our side. I have the hardest time with it myself. I'm just saying, every once in a while, I got to break down my own preconceived notions, right? My confirmation bias and be like, okay, I mean, these guys totally bimmed Epstein, and like I was talking about yesterday, that Epstein stuff hasn't come out totally yet. Whatever this list is, again, they're going to tell us what they're going to tell us. I think we all know a lot of the people that are on it, frankly, but whatever. We got to get there somehow. Anyway, this is, supposedly good. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, go ahead. I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York. All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're now talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly, and you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000, and then you never showed up for work, and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh, right? Like, I read most of that, so I kind of knew what was coming. Over 650 U.S. rabbis have signed a letter opposing Mamdani for New York City mayor. Again, I think this is awesome because this is doing what it was meant to do. What was that, Dan? Well, it was meant to wake people the fuck up. Again, coming to the precipice. Mamdani's the precipice. A whole bunch of people in New York City went, oh shit, we're about to literally put in a communist. Then Cuomo comes in. Again, 650 rabbis. The Jewish people better not vote for Mamdani. They'll probably vote for Cuomo. Either way, again, I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I know the Polly poll or whatever the shit's got Mamdani, but that's with Swami, whatever his name is. That dude, the other guy. I had it a second ago, and it's got a weird-ass name. Slout? Man, it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's in there somewhere. If he drops, Cuomo's numbers change. Sliwa, right? Isn't that it? There you go. Anyway, his numbers change significantly. It bugs me when I can't remember words. Trust me, guys. Just as much as it bugs you, it bugs the shit out of me, too. You guys have gotten really good about not pestering me with emails, so I appreciate you. They really have. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. U.S. still interested in meeting with Russia. Trump said it. I don't know if I've got the quote, but I just kind of wanted to fire it up. We're going to talk more about the Russia stuff coming up. But, we're definitely looking to a peace deal, a real problem. And Trump, talking to Rutte today, or Root, or however you say it, talking to the head of NATO today, I think we have some of that too. But that's significant because this is an issue of, look, NATO can't be supporting this war. This war needs to stop. You guys need to stop supporting this war. We need to stop pushing this war. You guys need to bring Zelensky to the table. You need to stop promising him weapons and money. Stop it. Stop. Let this war stop. And I think Root gets it. I heard him say that today. I felt like he said it weird. And I was like, Root? Really? It's not Rutt? Anyway, whatever. I always say name wrong. It doesn't matter. One of these days I'll stop saying I always say I'm wrong, and maybe I'll start always saying I'm right. We'll try. We'll work on that. That's how you manifest, by the way. See, that's an example of what you shouldn't do. I always say stuff wrong. See? I say stuff wrong. Same happens with the people online, their names. I got Black Hank's my favorite. I love Black Hank. Black Hank, you are awesome. I love you. But every person would generally look at that and be like, that's a dude. And it's not. Nope. It's not. It's a reference to something, and that's how it happens to be that way. But I personally think it's psychological warfare, and frankly, I failed. But whatever. It is. I got Black Hanked, Hate when it happens. It's like getting, it's the worst. It's like getting Rick Astley, right? Child of a sex offender caught re-entering the United States after already being kicked out. They had in El Paso, they actually pulled over a suspicious vehicle, happened to have a dude coming back into the country that was a child sex offender and had been kicked out and was sneaking back in. I don't know what it goes now. My guess is, knowing the way we're handling things now, this dude may not go back to Mexico. Mexico may get a phone call and they may say, hey, can we send this dude to Africa? Because he keeps trying to come back. And Mexico's probably going to be like, yeah, that's fine with me. And away he goes. Bye-bye. Good luck coming back. And that's really why we have these foreign places. It's mostly just so it's really hard to come back. It makes noise in the places. They're like, dude, they'll send you to Africa. No, don't go to America. Don't. It's not friendly. Not right now. This dude is saying anti-ICE organizers, he's like basically telling people in LA, he's like, this East LA, You know, you guys got guns too. So yeah. Anyway, he's pushing this stuff. I don't think I want to play it all because who knows? But his name's Ron Goshez, Ice Hunter. He's got a following of 150,000 people, which yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. Instagram followers. I bet that number's just like getting chiseled away every single day. I almost said chinked away, but I feel like that would be racist, right? Of course, it's getting chiseled away every single day. All right, a little bit here, a little bit there. And there you go. Illegal alien truck driver. This is gnarly. And they show it for, I don't know. I mean, I guess bad stuff happened during the video that I'm likely going to show. But you can't tell per se. But yeah, this dude killed 3 people in this crash that I'm going to play, I think, in a second. They know who it is, this guy here. I assume that's Sign is how you say that. But Jashanpreet Singh. He was under the influence. He was, I think, 18 or 21. He was very young, too. I don't know. That popped up somewhere. I don't know where I saw that. But here is the video. Again, just warning. I don't, you know, I think people got harmed in this, but you'll actually see fire come out of the hood of the... This dude was high. 21-year-old. There it is. And he had a commercial driver's license from, yes, California. And here in California, he actually killed 3 people. So there you go, California. You reap what you sow. I live here, so we reap what we sow. I take ownership too, whatever. That said, this is gnarly. So again,
exclusive dash cam video, which is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. It shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of...
I don't even know what happened to that white car. That first car he hit, I don't know what happened to it. Like it... Holy crap. That is so redonkulous. Anyway, that one right there. I don't know what happened to it. I think it hopefully goes that, but man. Like literally just, where'd it go? It exploded. It exploded. The bits of car. And we got people that are driving that shouldn't be driving. Blew up a car. Maybe that's what's burning on the front of them. It's under its wheel now. I freaking don't know. And God, I hope that doesn't get the video banned in any way. They can trim it out. We'll trim it out if we have to. If you guys missed that in YouTube, sorry. I mean, yeah, it was brutal, I guess. I don't know. You didn't see anything gory. Assume it was there, probably. ICE tracker planned by Democrats could endanger agents, Bondi is saying. Literally. They're creating this tracker, the Democrats, in Los Angeles specifically, their own app. So people can report and put officers in harm's way. This is how mayors get taken out of power. It's okay, guys. Like, you getting fired up and getting a little feisty, angry, that's good. But focus it on what we're doing. Continue to move in the direction we're going. These people will be taken care of. The proper pieces are being put in place. We've got the Q post that suggests when arrests happen that military will already be present. That is happening now. They're not coming in with the army and tanks and bullshit like that. No, it's going to be the National Guard. That is what is happening now. This is being set up under the guise of crowd control. And we're essentially pissing them off. I think Trump's intentionally trying to push, I think they're trying to help push these guys to do more stuff. It's like, do it. We're trying our best to piss you off. We are being as fascist as we can. You go, Antifa. They are kind of pushing the fascism. Like buying companies and stuff. I mean, whatever. It's smart. I mean, I like the fact that we're owning part of a company. If we're going to give money to a company, it's coming up. I just thinking ahead. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee is going to be launching their website to master ICE Tracker, where we are going to essentially be tracking every single instance that we can verify, the community said. Stephen Miller, She's talking about this bullshit, and it's crazy.
You have Democrats in New York City, for example, encouraging the rioters who are assaulting ICE officers, removing criminal aliens from their communities. You have Democrats trying to create tracking apps to tell the criminals, the fugitives, the rapists, the killers, the cartel members where and when ICE is going to be. You have Governor Pritzker trying to get ICE out of his city to protect illegal alien monsters who are committing crimes against children, against women, instead of protecting American citizens. This is a party that has embraced full-scale insurrection against the laws of the United States. You look at that arrest in Canal Street, for example, those 9 individuals, all illegal immigrants from Africa, almost all of whom were released into the country by the Biden administration. You have among them dozens of arrests, forgery, counterfeiting, drug dealing, narcotics trafficking, assault, battery, theft, domestic violence. And Democrats are saying these illegal aliens caught and released by the Biden administration not only should stay in our country, but they'll violently attack any federal officer who tries to remove them. And then more breaking news reported out by Fox's own Bill Maloogian. 3 people just died in California, killed by an illegal alien on the road, driving a semi-truck that was allowed into the country, caught and released by Joe Biden, and put on the road by Gavin Newsom. How much more blood has to be spilled by Democrats, Sean, before this madness stops?
Ooh, first off, where the hell in the nation do you call it a semi-truck? I love that. That's awesome. But where do you do that? Guys, why don't you email me that one? That I want to know. Where the hell's it called a semi-truck? We call them semis here, but that's not necessarily right. No shoot, shucky darn. All said, this is ridiculous, right? I feel like I don't know if you guys ever saw Romper Room ever in your life. It's like, Magic Mirror, tell me today, did my friends have fun at play? And they'd list off certain people, but it's like, I see rapists, I see killers, I see truck drivers of semis. It's crazy what is happening, what the Dems support. I don't, like, again, I'm like Fetterman right now. I'm like the opposite side of Fetterman. I've got family members that are Democrats. Like, they're not all assholes. Some of them in my family are very questionable, but like my sister, for sure. She's the only one that's actually sane on that side. Maybe my dad. But that's it. The rest of them are nuts. My brother and my mother are freaking nuts. Nuts. My older brother, too. Dude's nuts as well. I don't even want to talk about anyway. It's crazy how it all plays out. It's crazy how it plays out. Gavin Newsom suing Trump, but that didn't go well. So apparently, the judge of this court, sua sponte, whatever, requested a vote on whether to rehear this case en banc. A vote was taken. The matter failed to receive the majority of the votes of the non-recused active judges in favor of the en banc consideration. So rehearing en banc is denied. Judge Bergen's statement regarding the denial of a hearing en banc, blah, 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 blah. Basically, long story short, is California National Guard can be used in Oregon. Oops. Memphis' crime crackdown, they've done some good. Memphis isn't bitching about it nearly as much, of course, because the governor's actually Republican. The city's not. It's very blue. This is going to happen in a lot. See, the Republican states are going to be dialed in when this thing hits. I don't know if this thing, it feels like this thing's a little further away because of the way that it's playing out. Like, it just doesn't seem like we're ready for it yet. When you see National Guard in many more cities than 4, we are getting real close. So just keep that in mind, right? That'll be your telltale, my telltale, us telltale. And they might do a bunch of them at once and just be ready for it too. Again, because it's so telling. This might just be the, trickle a few in just so some of us realize this is what's happening. Whatever the case is, it seems to be working. 1,309 arrests, 72 missing children have apparently been found. That's awesome. Just in one city. Operation Chalkline. FBI SWAT team storm Wisconsin in a massive cartel gang bust. Federal agents launched this high impact, right? Arresting 22 suspects, seizing a cache of drugs, guns, and vehicles in a coordinated strike dubbed Operation Chalkline. It was backed by 14 SWAT teams and SWAT teams. 14 teams. 14's an interesting number too, by the way. Dozens of law enforcement partners. The FBI Milwaukee-led operation targeted violent criminal networks operating in Milwaukee. 14 is very significant. All said. Strange. We're playing the same game back at them. But this was significant. Gavin Newsom, he's urging all Californians to remain peaceful as the feds arrive in San Francisco. I'm going to give the guy points on this one. He's right. I mean, he's right. He's figuring it out. He's like one of the only politicians that kind of got it figured out. He sucks at the game, and he's horrible track record, and he keeps saying stupid, horrible stuff himself, but he gets the game. This dude's not an idiot. Gavin Newsom's, by far, in my opinion, the Democrats' best chance for a presidential candidate, and that's what his whole thing is right now. He is running for president right now. Just he hasn't said it yet, but that's what he's doing. So he says California has seen enough. President Trump and Stephen Miller's authoritarian playbook is coming for another of our cities, and violence and vandalism are exactly what they're looking for to invoke chaos. Well, help keep yourself and your community safe. Remain peaceful. And he's right. I mean, he's right. That's maybe going to happen. Who knows? Donald Trump posted this, though. It's interesting. The federal government was preparing to surge San Francisco, California, on Saturday. But friends of mine who live in the area called last night to ask me not to go forward with the surge in that the mayor, Daniel Lurie, was making substantial progress. I spoke to Mayor Lurie last night, and he asked very nicely that I give him a chance to see if he can turn it around. I told him I think he is making a mistake because we can do it much faster and remove the criminals that the law does not permit him to remove. I told him it's an easier process if we do it faster, stronger, and safer, but let's see how you do. People of San Francisco have come together on fighting crime, especially since we began to take charge of that very nasty subject. Great people like Jensen Huang, Mark Benioff, and others have called saying that the future of San Francisco is great. They want to give it a shot. Therefore, we will not surge San Francisco on Saturday. Stay tuned. It's kind of funny thank you for your attention to this matter. Like he didn't, he uses language very, very interestingly. New York AG urges public to send footage of ICE raids. I gotta have my girl talk. Alice, you do such a fine job. Thank you, my dear. Alice Tang, give it away. Take it away.
New York's Attorney General is asking the public to send photos, videos, and other evidence of federal immigration raids for review. The appeal comes just one day after an ICE operation targeting street vendors in Manhattan's Chinatown erupted into chaos as protesters clashed with federal agents. Letitia James said, quote, "Every New Yorker has the right to live without fear or intimidation." But the Department of Homeland Security called her request an obstruction of justice. The comments followed Tuesday's immigration enforcement operation on Canal Street, a stretch of Manhattan's known for its street vendors and counterfeit goods. Federal officials say 14 people were arrested, including illegal immigrants from Mali, Senegal, and Guinea, some with prior criminal records. 4 people were arrested for allegedly assaulting law enforcement and another for obstruction. DHS says several of those taken into custody and previous charges ranging from robbery and domestic violence to counterfeiting and drug offenses.
I love how her and that Tiffany chick, like, they just say Chinese names and shit like nothing. Like, it's just nothing. Like, I'm like, how the fudge? I ordered a Qingdao the other day, and I actually think I said it right because she said it back the way I said it. And I feel like I'm imitating them when I say it. That's the problem. I feel like I'm like almost making fun of them, like I'm imitating them. And somehow when I do that, rather than trying to say it like I'd say it, like I try to say like Qingdao, right? And they're like, it's Qingdao. And it's like, if I say, anyway, it's weird, right? She's another one. Like if I say it my way, anyway, I got to make fun of them. It's the only way I can pronounce it. Anyway, it's weird. It's a hard language. Japanese, so much easier. I got a Japanese friend I see usually on Wednesdays. You know, it's fun to talk. Actually, anyway, gosh, I'd love to tell you guys some of the crazy stuff I experienced. Last night was a good one. I needed that. God put a wonderful individual in my life. We were talking conspiracy stuff for the whole night. I haven't done that in eons. That was so nice to meet a real person in real life that's frickin' not crazy. U.S. national debt hits $38 trillion. Just, man, I mean, you know. James O'Keefe put this out. We got another federal contractor. He's admitting to a $100 million fraud. ATI Government Solutions Senior Director Anish Abraham exposes pass-through scam, pocketing 65% of a $100 million IRS contract. He pocketed 65%, wondering where all of this waste is going. Why do you think stopping government, shutting things down like we have, and they're like, you got to do this, and we're like, no, we don't really, actually. We're going to figure out how to pay the people that deserve to be paid, that we essentially want to vote for us for sure, which is a huge part. And farmers, they're getting money, right? Military, they're getting money. SNAP, they're getting money. He's going to keep doing that. And we're going to keep exposing all the stuff they do, all the places they're failing. Here's a weird one, though. I mean, everybody knows sports are fake, right? You guys, I mean, well, that there's things that happen, either officiating, players taking a knee, whatever, right? Like all sorts of weird stuff. Well, they've been caught, NBA. Yeah. And at least there's an investigation that sounds pretty significant. A couple things happening. So on the left, I'm going to say this guy's name wrong, I'm sure, whatever. But on the left, you have Tim Donaghy, disgraced NBA referee convicted of fixing games back in 2007. On the right, you have Scott Foster, NBA referee, who received 134 phone calls from Donaghy during the period he was fixing games. Donaghy went to jail. This dude was calling this guy to fix games, referee, who's probably going to get in trouble too. So Foster still refs NBA games, and we're all supposed to pretend the league isn't rigged, right? The NBA is about to implode, and, well, we've got this.
I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
Wow, that was a lot of drop just to get to tens of millions. I was expecting billions, but whatever the case is, this is kind of interesting. This isn't probably the first of this kind. This is shutting down a lot of the deep state activities. This is how they're finding a lot of this stuff. This is the specific stuff. There's probably other cheaters happening. Who wants to bet they're suddenly going a little quieter about it? Yeah, I bet you a lot of them are. Here's a little more on this same particular situation. I think this chick was also there with cash at the time.
The first case, Operation Nothing But Bet, exposed a gambling ring built around professional basketball, where players and associates allegedly used inside information to manipulate prop bets on major sports betting platforms. They placed wagers on unders on players to score less, rebound less, assist less, using information that was not yet public. In some instances, players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out. One example occurred on March 23, 2023, in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity. As a result of this investigation, 6 defendants, including Rozier, are now facing conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud.
Man, I want to tickle her. I want to tickle her. I want to see if she can somehow be less stiff. Sweetheart, come on. Live a little. You FBI people. Whatever. Yeah, no, right? Thousands of dollars, though? They make it sound like it was small. They were literally causing players to fake injuries just for thousands of dollars? Are you shitting me? No way. They're just not, I think, talking about the expanse of it. I think there's just no way. They're going to have a press conference? Yeah, we got a guy who made $10,000. Really? And you fucking wasting our time with $10,000? Really? No, don't. Dude, inflation? Have you heard anything I've been saying? Like, yeah. Money. I haven't looked for a little bit. It was, again, gold's it's moving way too much. And here's another example. I saw an article today talking about when gold and silver move more than 2%, that's like freaks out the market. It's like, it's doing that every day. It's moving like 2 to 5%, 7%, I think at one point. Silver was just out of control. Again, it's up $1.47 today so far, 3%. Gold's up 2.45%, almost $100. So again, it's gaining back. It lost a crap ton over the past couple days. Again, it's very volatile right now. It's not that gold's volatile. It's the currency that's volatile. Crypto, too, by the way. Just look at them. Bitcoin, someone's saying they expected, what was it, 120? They're expecting it to get to. I don't own any Bitcoin. I own some XRP. That's the only thing I own. That was cool when it was worth $3. But still, not bad. I bought it at like under $1, so I'm still sitting pretty as far as I'm concerned. But yeah. None of these things played out anything like people said, and we got a country in South America. Whole side story, I didn't pull it up, but a country in South America that's actually going to switch over to a cryptocurrency because they want to be able to catch drug dealers and stuff like that because they won't be able to hide their expenses. This is literally why they're going to crypto. Everyone thinks crypto's so secret and safe, and it's like, no, there's a digital footprint of what you did. If I can walk around the corner and hand somebody $1, I don't care if that dollar's Federal Reserve note or Treasury note, doesn't matter to me. But a physical thing that's actually quote unquote worth something because someone will accept it for sure. That's way more useful. Anyway, whatever. You got a 401k or an IRA, and I guess more than $25,000 balance. They've got a cover on it right now, but frankly, with the things happening the way they are, inflation's taking a bite out of crime every single day of your buying power, right? Think about this. It's the easiest way to look at it. I don't know how many gold pieces it would be. I'd have to do the math, but houses get more expensive, don't they? It's not that they're more valuable. Think about it for a second. Most of us don't realize this. This is one of the best indicators of inflation. Rents and homes, fuel, all these things, because this is the real inflation, not the bullshit inflation where they're like, yeah, no, so you get some ground beef and you get some like instant soup. Like, no. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your house. If your house was $100,000 10 years ago and now it's $300,000 or $200,000 or $150,000, your house is not more valuable. It's older. It's less valuable, in fact. The roof probably is going to need to be replaced at some point. That's because the value of money is less. This is the thing most people don't understand. So again, right now, buying property is not necessarily the best thing, especially with property taxes where they're at. It's not a good place to sink money right now. Bitcoin, crypto, all that can be, but I'll tell you the truth, it's in a horrible place right now because when the crash happens, everybody's going to cash out of their crypto. All the people that have put gobs of money in there that got in there a long time ago, they're going to sell out. They're going to take their winnings and buy a butt ton of stock. That's what they're going to do. So the day the stock market crashes, so will the crypto market, because people will be pulling the liquid out to buy stocks. That's when you buy, when they're low, right? Buy, sell high, buy low. And these guys, if they have anything to do with the black swan event that's going to happen, they're going to know it's coming. Crypto right now is not necessarily a good thing. Gold and silver holds your value. That's all it does. It's like a bobber floating in the water. It will hold your value. If the water goes up, the water goes down. This will hold your value. You'll be able to buy the same amount of house with how much you pull out. Say you have $100,000 in your account right now, right? Just for your IRA or whatever, your 401k, right? And maybe you can buy a house for $100,000. In large parts of this country, that might be actually possible. Here in California, I don't think you could buy a dog house for $100,000. But that would be like, I don't know, like, what, 25 of these maybe? Ish, right? 25 gold coins. If I took that 100 grand, turned it into 25 gold coins, we're just going to use some, made up numbers here real quick. It's pretty close to right. And I took that, and that 25, I'd have 25 of these gold coins. If your house costs $600,000 in 5 years, these coins, 25 coins, will be worth $600,000. It's a bobber. It protects your buying power. You could buy a $600,000 house or the $300,000 house when you sold out. That's what it'll do. It'll protect whatever your buying power is right now. Silver's an example of something that's actually cheaper, kind of. You get a lot of them. But at the same time, you actually can, there's a multiplier kind of kicking in with silver. Silver's actually doing some weird stuff. Again, they're going to give you up to 10% free silver. These guys are awesome. They answer all your questions. It's best customer service. You're going to get a free, of course, kit to learn all about why you're going to protect your assets with an IRA, precious metals backed IRA. It's physical metals in a trust. You literally can have the metals sent back to you. Ask them. They have the best customer service ever, right? You don't do it right up front because that's cashing out, right? Understand that. You can do it tax-free, penalty-free because you're going sideways with it. I've heard places talk about giving you the precious metals. That's cashing you out. So you're going to pay taxes and penalties. You can do that if you want. This is a smarter way, in my opinion. You move it sideways, you keep more of it. And then at some point, if you want to be like, F the IRS, give it all to me. I want to take a payout of every bit of it and I want to keep it in coin. That's your call. Right? You're going to get a tax liability, but who knows? Right? Like I'm not saying... I'm not your financial advisor, and don't ask them to give you advice. That's not what they can do. They can help you do this, but they can't answer weird questions like that. They don't believe all the crazy crap I talk about. What I do love about these guys is they'll take care of you, and I trust them to do that. That's why I recommend Goldco. I love these guys. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. 4 data points. Give them a call. Seriously. They can help change your life. There's been a bunch of people, I was just talking to some of them recently, that got out a while back. And they're sitting pretty. They're feeling good about everything right now. You could feel like that too in a year from here if you move forward. These guys can help you do it. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system, folks. Get the frick out. They are going to get out of you otherwise, and that's happening. Washington State Democrats are using homeless NGOs to funnel money to Antifa. This is out of control. What's happening? Holy crap, this is going to be a long show, isn't it? Oh, well. We'll see what happens. Let's play this, though.
Rich, it's not just conservatives who say this is happening, is it?
Hi, Elizabeth. No, these are voices across the political spectrum here in Seattle, all grappling with the issue of homelessness, which is essentially a drug crisis as well, which you can see in virtually every park here in Seattle. I want our viewers to take a look at this park where the homeless essentially have taken over all their drug paraphernalia. We've spoken with 3 people here. Many people, but 3 people, a reporter, a longtime police officer, and someone who works inside the homeless advocacy here. And what they say and what we saw is beyond shocking.
Pretty much all the drug addicts, criminals, the black market of stolen goods, it all thrives here. I mean, look at this guy, completely blitzed out of his mind. He's ODing on something, has a sandwich in his hand. I mean, this, again, is a drug crisis.
Jonathan Cho is a reporter for Turning Point USA and a researcher for the Discovery Institute, a conservative group which collaborated on the report.
It's a totally lawless environment, Rich, and the city just allows this.
A year ago, this was a park built for the community. Today, it's the epicenter of Seattle's homeless and drug crisis. Every day, school kids pass by unfazed.
No one's getting at the root causes of what's happening here on the streets, and that's the problem, but that's exactly how this nonprofit homeless sector operates.
Joe says it's all financial grift by the homeless industrial complex and that Antifa has infiltrated all of it.
Well, what's happening right here is being enabled by the homeless nonprofits. And the homeless nonprofits, the research shows, is working with far left militants and progressive groups and violent domestic terrorists like Antifa.
If it sounds far-fetched, take it from someone inside the homeless sector here.
It's the same faction of people who link up and protest and, do the black bloc, and, they're often the same people we see working inside social services.
Andrea Suarez, lifelong Democrat and Seattle resident, started a volunteer organization, We Heart Seattle, to clear trash from parks and homeless encampments.
Oh my God, you're so
Get the hell out of here! She said she had no idea she'd come face to face with Antifa.
I've been attacked. My staff has been attacked. We've been pushed into traffic. We've had...
But here's the question, why?
I'm not in alignment with their ideology. They don't want the city cleaned. Who in their right mind would come after a middle-aged woman for picking up trash?
The connection between the homeless industrial complex and the tie-in to Antifa. It's there clear as day.
Mike Solon has been with Seattle PD for 26 years and is the president of Seattle.
Again, yeah, you get the point. And what bugs me a lot, and part of why I want to play it, one, I'm just impressed that this was actually playing on News Nation. It's well done. Two, man, when I was like 5 to 7, my mom worked in downtown Seattle, right close to the waterfront. She worked for the union, and ugliest building, by the way. But we would go to work with her frequently, especially in summer and stuff, because we couldn't babysit. My mom was a single mom, raising 2 rambunctious kids. And I was coming down, I think, to visit even sometimes, from that matter. But we'd walk to Seattle Center. We'd walk to where the Space Needle is. No way in hell you do that now. We'd walk down to the waterfront, catch crabs, walk all the way down to, the piers down towards the, I don't know, whatever. We'd see if they had any Navy craft in there. We were always into the military stuff. Incredible times. Seattle has become a shithole. It's a beautiful town. It's a place that's special to me. And they just ruined it. New York AG Letitz James is heading to her mortgage fraud hearing. I think that's happening Thursday. Today it happened. Also just prior, by a few hours, the lady that's living in her home, Nakia Thompson, she is appearing in front of essentially a judge because, well, not essentially, an actual judge. She apparently threatened someone at her kid's elementary school and shouted that she'd punch her in the effing face. So obviously love flows from this family. Needless to say, we'll hopefully find out some interesting stuff tomorrow. The man charged in the fatal stabbing of a young Ukrainian woman in Charlotte on that light rail system, he has been indicted today on federal charges that could get him the death penalty. We got Ron DeSantis committed to abolishing property tax in the Sunshine State, which is super cool. And he says we have to put it on the ballot. Voters got to approve it, yada, yada, yada. I don't know why you wouldn't vote for no property tax. Someone's going to have to explain that one to me. Like, who's going to, vote? No, we keep the tax. Huh? Why? Anybody that owns property certainly is against it. There's commercial property owners. There's regular property owners. Even renters, you should be able to talk into the fact that it's like, hey, your property owners don't have to pay as much in tax, so your rent hopefully will go down. Again, Florida's still got to pay for stuff. I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe they got an alligator tariff or some shit. They might. It could happen. U.S. has struck an 8th alleged drug boat. What's strange about this particular one, though, by the way, is it was in the Pacific. Now, we've talked about how we are at war with Colombia and Venezuela. Maduro's over here, and I forget this dude's name. It'll come to me at some point, not today probably, but as we talk more and more about him. But we've probably got ships over here. Now, here, let me just tell you what's going on right now. At some point, it's very likely I'm just going to tell you guys. This is I think this is one of the key things that's going to happen. China is going to end up having to invade Taiwan. She's going to have to do it probably to save face, something to that effect. The second he does, we're pretending that we're fighting drug lords over here. You know what's also over here? Friggin' Panama Canal. Both sides of it. We've got a shit ton of military craft on both sides of Panama Canal. The ports that China is no longer going to get when we take control of the Panama Canal, when China's busy fighting with Taiwan. We got it planned out. That's what these guys are all here for. Now, my assumption is China knows this. Is that a risk worth taking? Because you're going to lose Panama Canal in taking Taiwan and possibly, likely, some of the other canals. Suez. I don't know if we've got stuff over there right now. I mean, likely we've got stuff sort of in the area, but some of those areas are very dangerous just to have warships running around. People can run over with RPGs and hit you in some of those places. So we got some stuff that's about to shizzle. That's going to affect stocks too, by the way, just saying. Media outlets that rejected Trump Pentagon guidelines acceded to Obama-era censorship at Gitmo. It's funny is that Obama had a thing you had to sign if you were a media person going to Gitmo. Pentagon was doing something that was basically less than that, frankly, but close. And they were okay with it then. They're obviously not now. I feel like we're beating a dead horse kind of when we talk about how silly they are. Blood thinners and anti-obesity shots are what are dominating the medical drugs, most common drugs right now. Eliquis is in at number one, $18.3 billion. Cost per dosage is supposedly $10. There are supposedly 3.9 million people that take Eliquis because of blood clots. Again, unhealthiness, if you're on it, I get you. Ozempic's number two, $9.2 billion spent on that, $356 per dose, 1.5 million fatties, no offense, on it. Diabetes, weight loss. Does it actually help with diabetes too? Anyway, one of my friends supposedly is taking it, and he's been hush-hush about it, and people are saying it was affecting the way he was acting. He did seem a little more kind of withdrawn, but I don't know. But also, yeah, most of this crap is a bunch of stuff. Diabetes, blood clots, COPD, arthritis, Crohn's disease, diabetes, blood cancers and bone marrow disease, heart failure, diabetes, HIV. Cool. We got something fun thrown in there. Kidding kind of, but right? Psoriasis, with a psoriatic arthritis, Crohn's disease, prostate, ovarian, bladder, blood, right? Again, dude, we're a mess in this country. A mess. Everybody wants drugs to fix it. That's the problem. Everybody's like, give me a med bed. That's the problem. Nobody's ready for it. Trump even shared the thing. Yeah, the technology exists. Most of us aren't ready for it. We're so jacked up. We want it simple. And you know what? Things don't usually, you got to learn the lesson. And if you don't learn the lesson, then what's the point? You're just going to do it again tomorrow. I could take all the weight off you, and you're going to go back to eating McDonald's every day and killing yourself. And it happens quicker, I think, frankly. Rand Paul again slams Trump over strikes. He's pissed off that we're going after drug people. Rand Paul, there you go. Just wanted to make sure. I'm not going to play it because I don't give a fuck anymore about this dude. This dude, I used to like him. It's a shame, but whatever. Whatever. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's been bought by somebody. Whatever. This is the weirdest thing to me, by the way. And this is so Australian, mate. Good day. Croc-infested river gets the green light for the Australian Olympics. Yeah, I bet you fucking roll your ass off when you know there's crocs in there, mofo. Literally. It is not swimming, thank God. But fuck, that'd be funny, though, right? Right? You got to swim the whole river, right? No, it's the Olympics, mate. Right, you gotta swim. Yeah, there's crocs, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's crocs all over. I ain't doing it. Right? Like, it'd be wild. But yeah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna go out there. And they gotta, like, row. There's something similar to that kind of shit. But yeah, there's light rowing. Green light for rowing. Thought they had another one. Yeah, whatever the case is. Can you imagine that? Rowing and you friggin' run into a croc and your boat sinks? You get eaten? Just saying. Everything can kill you. Holy crap. What is this? We're not going to play this, but what did it say? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't. That was good. Damn, I'm so long. That's 10 minutes long. There's no way in hell. Russia's response to the Tomahawk strikes would be overwhelming. Putin says, maybe I'll close out with that. Let's think about that. Yeah. Yeah, Russia's kind of, the Tomahawk thing would be overwhelming. Trump actually talks about that in that speech. We're going to close out with that. And that way, just for anybody that's like, dude, really? It's good stuff. Zelensky signs letters of intent to acquire 150 Swedish fighter jets instead of the Stealth, which are very expensive, the F-35, which frankly, in my opinion, is not that good a jet. The F-22 is pretty cool. The F-35, it's a piece of shit. It's the thing we sell to other companies. We can't give them something good. Can't give them the good shit. Hell no. The Wall Street Journal story of the USA's approval of Ukraine being allowed to use long-range missiles deep into Russia is fake news. This is Trump telling us this. The U.S. has nothing to do with those missiles, wherever they may come from, or what Ukraine does with them. Meaning, we're not giving them targeting data, which is something they're trying to blame us for. We're not doing anything with them. We have nothing to do, and I think it's the storm shadows, and their range is frankly not that good. So they're trying to, they can put it on an F-16, and that's one thing that Putin's talked about. I don't know if I've got it in here, but they consider the F-16 something capable of carrying a nuclear bomb. It's one of the reasons why it was sort of an off-limit weapon platform, because it can carry a nuke. And so now he's got to assume any F-16 that ever goes in the air to be of the utmost highest priority. My assumption would be he would at all times try to figure out how to take one down, and every single F-16 he ever shoots down will be one less thing he's got to worry about. Not saying I'm okay with that, but that's the dealio. That's how it is. Trump sanctions Russian oil firms. He's taken the sanctions further. He does talk about that as well. Germany stands to lose and Poland is going to gain from these energy moves. Germany's fucked. And now Poland's going to be selling energy to Germany. Germany's just fucked. Germany is so fucked, which I guess is karma. I don't know. It is kind of. You guys, 2 world wars. You're right in the thick of it. So, yeah, I guess you're going to take some in the shorts. Dankeschön. Putin oversees major Russian nuclear drill, launches ICBM. We don't need to show it all, but yeah, he launched some missiles. Land, sea, and air. He launched them from 3 different locations just to make sure I still got this shit. So that's basically what he did. Italy's Meloni issues warning to EU on seizing Russian assets. She's like, look, you guys better not do that. You're breaking international law. You can't do this. Other countries are like, EU's about to break the law. Hello. And Russia's like, you can't do that. That's ours. You can't just steal it from us just because you're pissed off at us all of a sudden. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. That's all I can say. The Wellness Company. Actually, anyway, we won't even bring that up. But just real quick, twc.health/OTF. twc.health/OTF. A lot of incredible products. I highly recommend you go to the site, hit it up. By goal is an easy way to do it. If you're looking for the ivermectin stuff, which I highly recommend, either the parasite cleanse or just ivermectin or the actual ivermectin cream, hit on the Revive section, the ivermectin collection. Longevity, they've got stuff for anti-aging, which again helps with antioxidants and all that kind of nonsense, which is not nonsense, but that kind of stuff. Appetite control, they've got a whole bunch of drops, a really good thing. They got these drops, and I don't know if you put them in water or whatever, but you literally just do a few drops and it helps with your appetite, it helps boost your metabolism, and it just literally helps you lose weight a natural kind of proper way. So this, again, not for people that are looking for lightning speed Ozempic people, no. You're looking to lose weight and do this for months and months, and then when you get to the weight you desire, 6 months from now, 7 months from now, you're going to enjoy that journey. I can't even tell you guys how much it is. I fluctuate a little bit in weight, just mostly for me, it's just drinking. But I fluctuate in weight a bit, nothing crazy. I'm pretty, it just starts to bug me. I start feeling really gross when I get too heavy. And just the process of moving back through that is awesome. There's an empowerment to it. There's just something beautiful about it. So it puts a lot of that stuff into your hands. They've got hair products. Again, weight control they've got in a few ways. Gum supplement, like for your teeth and gums. Plastic detox. Saw a crazy video. Well, not a video, but a story. about a guy that, anyway, had to do with the plastic just showing up in juices I wouldn't typically look to test, but that's what he was testing. All said. It is disgusting. Yeah, buy gold. You get a number of different ways to go about it. Seriously, go to twc.health/OTF. Again, I can't say enough about the parasite cleanse. It has been amazing. I'm back on it again. The red dots, like they was weird. There's a few of them kind of stopped kind of changing color, and that was when I sort of stopped taking it for a little while. I'm like, I'm going to give my body a little break here, right? And then I'm hitting it again, and they're all going dark, like all of them. It's pretty, even the one on my arm is actually starting to darken. It's a trip. And what bugs me is that I think most of these little weird things are actually parasites. That's the problem. And then it's just kind of like, gross. I'm kicking their ass right now, though. That's the parasite cleanse. It's 90 pills. Keep that in mind when you look at the price. Don't freak out. It's 90 pills. You're only supposed to do like 21 days and you take some time off, and 21 days, take some time off. That 90 pills lasts you quite a long time. It's also something that any viruses you get, it will knock down. That kind of, like, you could get the flu. You take one of these for a day, one a day. Dude, there is no flu in you in 2-3 days. Especially if you catch it right when you start getting that tingle in the throat. Boom, start taking it immediately. Take one. You don't need to get crazy. Take one. Take one tomorrow. You'll be done with it. And I mean, like I said, I haven't had a cold sore since I've started taking any of this. I don't know if I've killed it inside altogether or just haven't given it a chance, whatever. I'm just going to say that's kind of interesting because that's a virus too. A lot of strange things seem to be affected by this. This is one of those things where think about, know thyself. Parasite cleanse is great for taking out parasites, which could be cause of cancer in some cases. There's a lot of just virus, parasite, think same thing for the most part. For the most part, they are. They're a little different. We don't need to get into the differences. Keep that in mind. That's all I can say. And you would be wise to enhance on that one for sure. twc.health/OTF. Make those healthy choices, folks. They're going to try to smoke us if we don't give the proper chance. All right. Oh, Kennedy, I gotta play this. I love this dude, and I haven't listened to it. Check it out.
But she is calling a lot. She could end that war in Ukraine and settle the Middle East tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Really?
All he'd have to do is call Putin and say, Putin, I want it stopped. And if Putin says, no, all she will say, look, I don't mean to embarrass you, but if you don't stop it, I'll punish you the rest of your natural life, and you won't be running Russia anymore. And he would stop. Same thing with Iran. He can back them off in a phone call. But I'm telling you, I've seen the classified and unclassified information. He's behind a lot of this. And it started when President Obama drew a red line in Syria, and Assad crossed it. It started when President Obama let Russia take Crimea. You think Russia didn't check the President Xi in China before he did that? And then it accelerated under President Biden.
Yeah, so I mean, again, just sort of crazy that he's saying there, but truth's coming out, guys. President's going to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping, South Korea next week. If I was Alice Tang, Xi Jinping, I should say it perfect. Whatever. Tiffany Meyer would say it perfect. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to practice. I'm going to get a rounder face, and I think I can do it. I can do it. Alice, I need tutoring. All right. Anyway, sorry. Too much fun for me. President's going to meet Chinese president. I already talked about that. Shut up, Dan. Chinese is, they're going to request sensitive info from U.S. chip makers. I'm not going to play this minute, even though it's Tiffany. They're asking our American semiconductors to submit sensitive information about their business, including the balance sheets, their income statements. They want to know if they're getting charged too much for what they're getting. Oh, China's just barking up the tree lately. There you go. No. You go. No, we're not giving you that. Shut up. You wouldn't give us the shit you're stealing from us. You guys are funny as hell. Musk responds after SpaceX loses guarantee of first moon landing. Well, I think there's some questions about whether or not they're actually going to be able to pull this off. And so Secretary Duffy of NASA, well, let's let his words speak for him.
Now, SpaceX had the contract for Artemis 3. By the way, I love SpaceX. It's an amazing company. The problem is they're behind. They push their timelines out, and we're in a race against China. The president and I want to get to the moon in this president's term, so I'm going to open up the contract. I'm going to let other space companies compete with SpaceX, like Blue Origin. And again, whatever one can get us there first to the moon, we're going to take. And if SpaceX is behind, but Blue Origin can do it before them, good on Blue Origin. But by the way, we also might have two companies that can get us back to the moon in 2028. But again, we're not going to wait for one company. We're going to push this forward and win the second space race against the Chinese, get back to the moon, set up a camp, a base, and from there, we're going to figure out how we can actually get to Mars.
Blue Origin, that had to have pissed Elon Musk off so hard. Fucking Blue Origin? No way, dude. They're the ones, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think they're the ones that are putting, like, what's the singer up in space? Remember the one that put her little Daisy? Right? They did that, Shatner went up there. Probably shat his own pants. Another person that's taking it too far. Whatever the case is, I don't know. I think they're just trying to nudge Musk into excellence that he should be able to do. We got some research that is out regarding AI safety. And I don't know who put this out. Who is this? This Arc to the Rim? Whatever. It's a Substack. I don't know what they push per se. But they're basically asserting that GPT-5, the newest ChatGPT, its values, when it comes to this race thing, anyway, I don't know how they get these questions to ChatGPT. There's people that have way too much time on their hands to do things that I just literally would be like, and why? Whatever. Apparently ChatGPT considers white lives to be 1/20th of a non-white life. So if you're like not white, something other than white, something that doesn't associate itself with white, ChatGPT instantly would not hit you with its AI self-driving vehicle. But if you're white, there's a stronger chance you're going to get smoked. I guess if it had to choose between a black person and a white person, black people, you're stoked. It would smoke that white person in a heartbeat. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, there you go. There's AI for you. Oh, yeah, this is the thing. We'll close out. If you guys want to watch it, it's actually really cool. I do recommend it. It's just I'm so stupid long already. It's like, oh, my God. And I'm about to go live in an hour and 18 or 28 minutes. Hour and 18 minutes. All said. I'll get this up barely in time. We got a good live one. I want to remind any of you guys that are still with us that we've got awesome Kiss is inspiring this week's show, and there's quite a few Kiss songs. I actually could have almost done a whole show on Kiss, but I threw in a few other songs in there. Pretty good. You guys should dig it. All said, we're doing this together, guys. I love you. I'm going to help any way I can, and there's a few different ways I'm trying to do that. The live one stuff is definitely one of them. All said, we are doing this together. Where we go one, we certainly go all. It is on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.
It's an honor to have a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. We've become friends, actually, through the trials and tribulations of everything. Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, highly respected. Every country, almost every country in Europe. I think you can almost take away the almost pretty soon. But they all have great respect for the leader, and he is the leader. And we've had some very good discussions today, and things are going along pretty well as regarding Ukraine, Russia. We thought it would be a little bit easier. That's turned out to be tougher than the Middle East. The Middle East was supposed to be the tough one, and we've solved that puzzle, but this one will get solved also. So I want to just say it's an honor to have you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for hosting again. And we were texting, I think it was on the day when you were in Israel and in Egypt, this tremendous success you had under your leadership, bringing peace to the Middle East. And then we texted each other and said, and the next big thing has to be Ukraine, Russia. And I want to help, NATO wants to help, my colleagues want to help to basically deliver on your vision of peace in Ukraine. And I really want to thank you for everything you're doing, including breaking the deadlock with Putin, starting the dialogue in February when you came in as president in January, but also for everything you did with NATO, the fact that we are now at this 5%, the huge success in The Hague at the NATO summit, the fact that Europeans are also stepping up when it comes to Ukraine, basically the weapons from the US being delivered to Ukraine, paid for by allies, and the Europeans coming together to discuss how can we sustain Ukraine post the peace deal. all of this is evidence of your leadership of pushing the Europeans and the Canadians to do more, to deliver, and to equalize in spending with the US. So on all of this, and today we will talk more on how we can really bring Ukraine to the next phase and get this terrible war, and all the bloodshed ended.
And as you know, we are going to be making a big trip next week. Some of you are going with us. We'll be going to Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan. In South Korea, I'll be meeting with President Xi of China. We'll have a pretty long meeting scheduled. We can work out a lot of our questions and our doubts and our tremendous assets together. So we look forward to that. I think something will work out. We have a very good relationship, but that'll be a big one. We canceled the meeting with President Putin. It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get, so I canceled it. But we'll do it in the future. But next week we'll be with many of you in those locations that I told you. Then it's back to Washington. So thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you tell us a little bit about why you're elevating sanctions against Russia right now?
I just felt it was time. We've waited a long time. I thought that we'd go long before the Middle East. And Mark, as you know, we did the Middle East plus 7. So we did 7 different wars from Pakistan and India to so many.
Azerbaijan, Armenia.
Which they said was impossible to do. All these wars I did, and the one that we have left, we have 1 left. It'll be 9. We have 1 left, and I think we'll get that done too. I think we're on our way to getting it done.
We have to.
Mr. President, do you have a timeline for when you think the story is going to be over because of your leadership?
No, I don't have a timeline. You can't have in war. It's hard to have a timeline. You know, so many things happen in war. Go ahead.
What about Tomahawk missiles? Putin is definitely
Well, the problem with the Tomahawk that a lot of people don't know, it'll take a minimum of 6 months, usually a year, to learn how to use them. They're highly complex. So the only way a Tomahawk is going to be shot is if we shot it, and we're not going to do that. But there is a tremendous learning curve with the Tomahawk. It's a very powerful weapon, very accurate weapon, and maybe that's what makes it so complex. But it will take a year. It takes a year of intense training to learn how to use it. And we know how to use it, and we're not going to be teaching other people. It's too far out into the future.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, please.
I saw, Mr. President, that you said as recently as yesterday that you still believe that Putin wants to end the war.
Yeah,
And today
I do.
You took this step to ratchet the sanctions and put more
Yeah.
pressure on him. What else are you going to do to encourage him to get there, or can you explain why you do believe he wants peace?
Yeah, it's a good question. Today is a very big day in terms of what we're doing. Look, these are tremendous sanctions. These are very big. Those are against their 2 big oil companies. And we hope that they won't be on for long. We hope that the war will be settled. We just answered having to do with the various forms of missiles and everything else that we're looking at. But we don't think that's going to be necessary. We would like to see them just take the line that has been formed over quite a long period of time and go and let's go home. Last week they had almost 8,000 soldiers killed. Many Russians were killed last week. Many Ukrainians were killed last week. We think it's ridiculous, and we'd like to have it end.
Why do you think you want peace, though? Why do you still believe that?
I think they want peace. I think they both want peace at this point. It's been, it's almost 4 years. You're going into 4 years, and if I were president, it never would have started. But yeah, it's time.
Mr. President, on the shutdown, will you do plan to meet with Democrats before you head to Asia? And if not, why not meet with Democrats?
Well, I think it's a shame that it's shut down because we have the greatest economy, as you were saying before. We have the greatest economy in the world right now, by far, the United States. We have almost 18, now it was 17, now it's $18 trillion being poured into our country, and it's no time for shutdowns. I don't think it's affecting what we're doing, but it's too bad for a lot of people. We have a lot of good people that aren't working right now that should be, and it's because the Democrats want to try and renegotiate a deal that they had negotiated. They want $1.5 trillion given to illegal immigrants who came into the country, and it's going to hurt the health care of citizens of our country that have been paying into it, that have been working hard for it, that really deserve it. So we're never going to do that. It's not going to happen. And I will tell you, there are a lot of good Democrats that really want to make a deal. And I think all we need is 5 Democrats because we have great support on the Republican side. So I think we need 5 Democrats, and there are a lot of them that want to make a deal. So I think at some point, common sense will prevail. Go ahead, you can finish up.
On the drug boat strike in the Eastern Pacific,
Yeah.
can you explain to us what that was about, how it was conducted?
Yeah, sure. Well, they had one today in the Pacific. And the way I look at it every time I look, because it is violent, And it's amazing that the weaponry, that everyone, they have these boats that go 45, 50 miles an hour in the water. And when you look at the accuracy and the power, look, we have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest weapons in the world. And you see a little bit of it there. One shot, everyone dead center. And the only way you can't feel bad about it is you realize that you won't feel badly about it, is you realize that every time you see that happen, you're saving 25,000 American lives. Every one of those boats that gets knocked out is saving 25,000 American lives, not to mention the torn up families all over the country. And whenever I see that, I say to myself, I just saved 25,000 lives. I will say that there are very few boats traveling on the water right now. Actually, that includes fishing boats, that includes any other kind of boat. But there are very few boats traveling on the water. So now they'll come in by land to a lesser extent, and they will be hit on land also. Go ahead, in the back, please. Yes, we have legal authority, right? We're allowed to do that. And if we do by land, we may go back to Congress. But this is a national security problem. They killed 300,000 people last year, these drugs coming in. They killed 300,000 Americans last year, and that gives you legal authority. We have a national security, really, I will say this, when you look at the people we're dealing with, and we know them, we know the people coming in, we know the boats, we know everything else, we're allowed to do it. It's in international waters. If we don't do it, we're going to lose hundreds of thousands of people. Now, they'll be coming in by land a little bit more because they're not coming in by boat anymore. There are no boats in the water. There are no more boats. We know the boat almost immediately. It's pretty unusual when you see somebody with a fishing rod and 5 engines on the back of the boat. You don't need that to go fishing. Wait. And we will hit them very hard when they come in by land. And they haven't experienced that yet, but now we're totally prepared to do that. We'll probably go back to Congress and explain exactly what we're doing when we come to the land. We don't have to do that, but I think, Marco, I'd like to do that. You may respond to that if you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, the question is, bottom line, these are drug boats. If people want to stop seeing drug boats blow up, stop sending drugs to the United States.
Does it matter if it's in the United States?
Well, these are all in international waters.
Can you do a strike in the United States, or
well, that's a different matter. Now you're talking about a law enforcement matter. In this particular case, there are people traveling on international waters headed towards the United States with hostilities in mind, which includes flooding our country with dangerous, deadly drugs. And they're going to be stopped. And that's what's happening. And in the case last week, you saw there was a submarine. It was a submarine. It was a submersible. That's a drug boat all the way through. We know what these boats are. The president just said it. We track them from the very beginning. We know who's on them, who they are, where they're coming from, what they have on them. If you're running drug boats, you're in grave danger.
And drug usage is way down, and drug usage coming from the sea